in the panel. With the permission of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, I am going to start it. Sir, is
Kindly
it
start
okay?
this topic.
Okay. Today's webinar is on my story. It's a motivational session on innovation. Good evening and warm welcome to you all in today's webinar. This is a motivational session on innovation and incubation. We are pleased to have with us today our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. Shoikat Moitra, and our guest speaker, Sri Abhishek Runta. As you know, in most of us in our society has a perception that entrepreneurship is the last option to pursue in one's career. But if we see that today's unicorn in India, like Paytm, who is the founder, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, is an Indian billionaire businessman. What is his age? 43, 44 years. He belongs to Aligarh. Net worth would be more than 175 crores or so. But his education qualification is he is a graduate from Delhi Technological University. He could have pursued his employment in some other good companies, but he chose to be an entrepreneur. And today it is an unicorn what he has founded. Now let us see another unicorn, Wow Momo. The founder of Wow Momo is Sagar Daryani. He is from Calcutta. He has done his studies from St. Xavier's College, Calcutta. And he is a good student. He could also become an employee, but he chose to become entrepreneur. And today, the brand originated out of Calcutta and currently with more than 50 outlets in 5 cities, Kolkata, Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, and other prominent cities of India. And let's take another case, Byju's. Byju's, the founder is Baiju. What is his surname? Ravindran. Baiju Ravi. He also done his BTech from Government College of Engineering, Kannur. He could have also pursued his career as an employee, but he chose to be, an entrepreneur. He was so good that he used to teach, people for CAT examination, and every time those students used to, secure their position in the CAT examination. He himself scored once with 100 percentile, but he still chose to remain not being an MBA student there, and he founded the test preparation business, Byju's classes, and the company grew to a stadium size classes. So these are few examples. We will hear from our guest speaker, Mr. Abhishek Rungta. But before I hand over the session to him, I would request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to say a few words for the occasion. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mukhopadhyay. I am very happy that from IIC, Institute Innovation Cell and ICTA Incubation Center, all the our officials and faculty members associated with these centers, they are continuously, relentlessly, they are engaging themselves uh, for the betterment of our learning community. And these sorts of sharing of experience from a resource persons who has a first-hand experience in this field is one of the unique thing of these programs. Here, you know that entire mandate of the entire country is we need to now generate a numbers of uh, potential entrepreneurs, and that's why all the governments, be it central government, state governments, all are trying their level best in reforming the entire systems and in introducing the culture of entrepreneurships in the mindset of our new learners of the and the students of the future or generation of the futures. We particularly at this part of this country, we, as a community, the Bengali community, by and large, they earlier they were risk takers, and there were many successful stories as evident in history of
आवाज करो
taking up entrepreneurship in a this profound manner. But what happened in the period of British era, our entire this cultures, our entire thought process that underwent a transformation, and we now prefer to stay in a comfort zone for securing a job, and we do not and we have developed a culture of risk aversion, and this basically it is in this present scenario, in the current time, present time. Now what we are seeing, these types of culture which we were gathered or accumulated in the last this of
Yeah.
100 years or so, that are becoming very much counterproductive. And now we need to stretch ourselves to the maximum possible limit for inculcating these enterprising and entrepreneurial cultures among all our fraternity, be it teachers, be it students, and this should come from this should be generated in the ambience and environment of the university and the on the academic institutes. So now this innovation cells, entrepreneurs excels, these are becoming one of the uh, one of the major activity or one of the compulsory activity of all these academic institutes. So this is the mandate, and in near future, to transform the entire economy, we need to develop a numbers of more entrepreneurs, numbers of job givers, and whatever surveys and all these things which we are observing from different agencies, that this economic scenario right now, until and unless we do not engage ourselves in serious intervention by providing our knowledge and taking up the challenging task directly, that the economic scenario is going. The change of this economic scenario will be a challenging or daunting task, and that's why. Uh, uh, from our side, we will be leaving no stone unturned in inculcating this culture, in encouraging our students, in motivating our students, in inspiring our students, our teachers to engage themselves in all sorts of activities. The teachers are also equally, the stakeholders are equally responsible, because the students, they are mostly encouraged and inspired by the teachers themselves. And of course, we are trying to bring or integrate with the resource persons who have done similar type, who have gone through this similar this path of these entrepreneurship activities, and who have attained a profound knowledge and experience in this particular area, to engage themselves for enriching and for enlightening our all this learning community. Today, I'm very happy that one of a person, one of the of this category of persons who has the capability and who has the right intention, because he has responded to our call, uh, will be delivering or share here at this platform, sharing his knowledge, share his experience, sharing all these ideas and whatever the experiences which he has gathered, and how these entrepreneur activities to take forward. Nothing is easy. Everything has this it requires this mindset where from the very beginning, we have to keep ourselves prepared for facing the unforeseen challenges or uncertainties. But how to overcome all these things? That is very very important. That's why this guidance and learning from the experience of others, that sometimes becomes very very essential and crucial if we want to take up these types of similar journey in the future. So I believe that from today's deliberations or from the today's session, all the learning community will be immensely benefited. And as it is being organized digitally, so now it is quite formidable, or quite it is now possible for us to reach out to numbers of attendees, be it associated with our systems or other systems. And this is another unique advantage. So, and all these things will be recorded and will be there at our own developed virtual televisions or in social media YouTubes, so for the viewing of the of all the attendees afterwards, or those who will not be attending today's programs for the paucity of time afterwards. But the point is this: from all these programs and from all these exercises, this we should get inspirations and motivation, and we should engage ourselves in serious, these interactions, or understanding all these things, these all these experiences which will be shared, all these narrations which will be deliberated here. From there, how to gather, these meaningful insights, and how to make ourselves more strong to face the uncertainty of the future. That becomes one of the prime conditions to attain success in near future. So I believe all our attendees, all those who are present today, directly or indirectly, they will be doing similar types of activity, these exercises, for making them more strong, more inspired, more innovative, and with more entrepreneurial culture. With this, I would like to conclude. Thank you, Mr. Mukhopadhyay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your inspirational insight for towards innovation and entrepreneurship. Now, I would briefly introduce Mr. Abhishek Rumta, his credentials. Abhishek is an entrepreneur, digital strategy consultant, software architect, marketing geek, angel investor, and a visionary. A technology guy turned entrepreneur in his teens. Abhishek founded IndusNet Technologies, now known as INT, in the year 1997. It's a fully bootstrapped venture from one person to a family of 750 plus full-time professionals who are not only from India, the UK, USA, Canada, and Singapore. After doing his bachelor from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, Abhishek went on to do his master's in multimedia technology from the University of Bath, UK. He has recently undergone the seed transformation program from Stanford University. Abhishek has served as the president of TAI Kolkata chapter for more than a year. So with this introduction, I would now like to hand over the session to Mr. Abhishek to share his own story and to motivate our prospective entrepreneurs, innovators, and the entire fraternity.
Okay.
Abhishek.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pradipda. Thanks for inviting me. It's an honor. I would like to divide my talk maybe in two parts, around 5 minutes to deliberate on, what are the key elements that are required to be an entrepreneur, right? Forget about entrepreneurship. I think those are elements that are required to be even a successful professional. And the second part, I will take you through my journey of starting IndusNet, because a lot of people think and believe that you can't build a successful company out of Kolkata, and unfortunately this whole thinking process has been ingrained in people's mind so deep that to think out of it becomes quite difficult at times. So I'll tell you how someone I mean, I came out with literally no money in my pocket, and how I built IndusNet over last 24 years. I will take you through a little bit of that journey, and I will take around 30-35 minutes for that, and then we can open up for some question answer if you have. Is it all aligned, Pradipda? Is this okay? Is this timeline?
This is okay. This is okay.
Perfect. Okay. So I think there were some very interesting points that were put, like by our respected panelists, and the points are very valid, right? We have to come out of our comfort zone. There is a little bit of a legacy that has been left by behind, not little bit, actually a lot, by the Raj, which kind of defines the way we think, the way we work, and a lot of these things needs to change, right? So the change starts with ourselves. So my way of looking at it is that uh, you can be one of these three things at different points in your life, and you can move through in your career in these three layers, right? One, you can be a great executive. Second, you can be an entrepreneur. Third, you can be an investor. I'm not getting to the third one, I'm talking about the first two today. So, and these are the layers, right? You can grow up in your career to be any of these. So an executive does, he works with an entrepreneur to build a vision and then execute a vision. An entrepreneur basically builds a vision, and he enables his team to execute the vision, and he kind of set set the context where the company has to go, what it has to do, how it has to grow. And again, at a lot of times he has to be the problem solver, chief problem solver also, right? He has to come down, roll up his sleeves and get things done. And that is what entrepreneurs are all about, right? And they take the company through the worst phases of the business, right? So they are actually visible and they are noticeable when the company really struggles. They are necessarily not visible when the company is doing great, right? And last is obviously investor, who has the ability to again see the future and then invest in entrepreneurs who have similar vision and who have the ability to execute that vision to achieve that future. So these are three different phases in anyone's career. It can be like that. So one thing which is common to be successful in any of these roles, I think a lot of you will start as an executive. A lot of you, some of you might like to take a jump directly into entrepreneurship, and absolutely great if you want to do that. But few things are very critical that you need to follow. If you don't do that, you will be in very difficult terrain. Number one, and which is also one reason which I found when I speak to a lot of people, right? And they talk about that, why is Kolkata not growing? Why is Kolkata not getting to a point where it should be? These are the points which are highlighted very, very repeatedly. And one of this point is that ownership, right? We don't own up ourselves itself. Forget about owning up any other big responsibility. We don't own our own career, right? We are always looking at someone else ki bhai, this person will come and he will make my career. This person will come and he will guide in my career. This guy will come and he will train me in my job. A fourth person will come and he will give me a job, right? This is a problem, right? We are always dependent on someone else to do things for us. This world is not the right place for this mindset anymore. It used to be a mindset when, let's say the British wanted to rule the country. They wanted to train a lot of people. They wanted to put them in the right locations. Everything was planned and everything was in a structure. Right? They came, they trained, they planted, and they kept those people happy and, in a nice way, and that worked very well. The Indian bureaucracy adapted the same thing and they ran it like the same way, right? But the world is changing at such a rapid pace today that even trying to follow that model, you will be in disaster, right? So first of all, you have to own up your career, and then as you move ahead, you have to own up any responsibility that is coming. So the biggest challenge when entrepreneurs tell me that why they don't want to headquarter companies in Kolkata, they say that in Kolkata, I don't see ownership. People don't say, okay, this is my function. Don't worry about it anymore. I will make sure how I take it from X to Y in Z number of days. Nobody talks in that language. Everybody says, Chesta korbo. I will try. I am trying. So everybody is saying in an uncertain language and nobody is saying that, yes, I will do it, and then own it up and do it anyhow, right? Now, when we talk about knowledge, a lot of time people will come and say, how do I get knowledge? I may not have experience. I may not have knowledge. First of all, experience is outdated today because the world is changing literally every year, right? So anybody who has experience of things, how things used to happen 10 years back is absolutely obsolete today, right? People care about what's happening today. And you are the best guy to know what's happening today. You are the current generation. And therefore, the new generation is valued far more than more experienced people. In fact, experience becomes a liability at times. So first of all, that whole excuse of experience goes out. Second is the excuse of knowledge. Okay, I have not been taught this. I have not read this. I have not done this. Today, the entire knowledge on internet is free. You just need the desire and eagerness to go and learn. And the challenge is, if you see the search volume, right, people are least interested in learning. Whereas you have the most amount of information and knowledge available on internet. You can just go and learn any subject. I mean, you can be a rocket scientist by just learning from internet. You don't need any college, any class, any university, any degree, right? Elon Musk was not trained in rocket science, right? Elon Musk taught himself rocket science ground up, zero. He knew nothing about rocket science. He knew nothing about how to make electric cars. He taught himself. Forget about Elon Musk. Even in India, I have met so many entrepreneurs coming from background as diverse as, English honors. And they are running fintech companies, which is into finance, right? Which is a pretty complex subject. And they have built companies and scaling those companies in finance, which has huge marketing need, huge sales need, and they have massive finance understanding. They have built all this understanding. So the crux is that for even being a good executive, you need to have this continuous learning and lack of excuse and ownership. These are the three most important things that you need to have. If you don't have these, reflect upon yourself and try to fix these, right? Second challenge that I find is that we are in a huge comfort zone, right? And I think that has come from a very fundamental reason, because we are in one of the most fertile places in the world. We are in possibly one of the most beautiful places in the world. We have got 4 amazing seasons, right? Even Delhi doesn't have 4 seasons properly like that, right? They don't have a beautiful monsoon like we have. They don't have all these, nice, intermediary seasons like we have. In fact, we have 6 seasons, I would say, right? No other place in India would have such diversity. We have the beaches, we have the mountains, we have the plateau, we have the jungles, right? So we are in a comfort zone, and that has also been a problem. So having these things is great, but this is also a problem, right? We are in such a comfort zone that we don't want to move out of this comfort zone. हम बोलते हैं जैसा चल रहा है अच्छा है रहने दो, right? So this is a problem, because unless we come out of our comfort zone and we challenge ourselves that we don't know or we may know less. So whenever I see a post on social media, most of the post is all about how great we are, right? How great we are. In Calcutta, in Bengal, how great we are. We are great. Our past was great. But for our future to be great, we need to also acknowledge how other people are becoming successful and what is our gap, what will make us successful. So we are not even evaluating that, right? If you want to be successful in that field, of course you have to evaluate that what is the gap that we need to cover. So, and that will also give you the impetus to learn. And this all will come when you have one very important element built into your character, and that is curiosity, right? And I feel that curiosity is the only thing, right, that had helped me in my own career. So I would not take anything for granted. I would always love to discover more, find out more, learn more, understand more, and challenge every thought that is available. And that only comes with curiosity, that yes, I want to find out the end of this. I'm not ready to accept it the way it is. And I think this is what initiates learning, right? So if you see a guy, let's say, who is a English graduate and has made a successful fintech company, he must have been extremely curious. कि यार बैंक कैसे काम करता है, right? How does finance work? How do banks make money? In interest rate also, what is this rate? What is that rate? How will it work? How do they transact? How do they get these customers? So unless you are curious and try to figure out answers to so many hundreds and thousands of questions, you cannot be successful. Because a lot of times when I sit on the investor seat and I look at pitches, I find people have not even researched 1% of that field. And they just want to start, and they think that tomorrow they will raise money and they will become a millionaire. It doesn't work that way. If you have not researched your subject, if you are not great in your subject, if you are not in depth in your subject, right, only fools will invest in you. Right? Yeah, and there are plenty. So that is another problem, that they basically are encouraging you because they are still investing even if you don't know the subject, right? So again, that's a different subject altogether. I'm not getting into that. So I think this is the crux of my, I would say, a little heavy talk, which I wanted to leave with you, primarily on the subject of, how we have to look at our mindset, how we have to become more curious, how we have to take more ownership, how we have to challenge ourselves, how we have to look at uncomfortable conversations and uncomfortable data, right? And we need not live into our own, a closed box, which continually reinforces that we are the best, right? So experience is a burden, trust me. Anybody who tells you that, you will only succeed when you have 20-year experience is absolutely fooling around with you, right? I mean, as a CEO of the company, I find guys with 3 years experience are making much more money in my own company than people with 8-year experience, with people with 10-year experience, because the new technology is much easier for these new boys and girls to pick, right? The right boys and girls are picking this technology in second year, third year in their college, and they are coming so strong that, even 5, 7, 8-year experience guys are not able to do what they are doing. So ultimately, you don't get paid for your experience, you get paid for what you can do. So if today someone has to write a blockchain software, right? And if you guys are learning blockchain, you will have much more preference and you will be paid much, much more for writing that, instead of a guy who's 15-year experience. He may have coded in 5 different technology, but today he's not able to pick blockchain and write the software for me. So, keeping now this in the background, I think this is a little heavy talk. I will leave it here. I will leave these thoughts with you. I really hope and wish that you take these inputs and think about it. It's not going to change you overnight, and you will need to think about it. You need to challenge yourself, and hopefully you will be able to inculcate some of these ideas and grow from there as an individual. And then, be it being a great professional or software programmer or entrepreneur or investor, all these lines open up for you after that. But unless you do this, you may not be successful in any of them. Now, coming back to my story, so I would kind of take another 15-20 minutes to walk you through my story so that you can understand that this can be done from here. That is my only objective, right? I mean, again, I'm not very keen generally to talk about my story. I have hardly done that, but unfortunately, this is what a lot of people expect out of me and demand. So I'll do that. So I will start from my school days. So in school, I went to South Point, and before I passed out, I was already doing a job. I don't know if you have heard of an organization called Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme, and I was part of that. And even before I passed out of school, before I passed out of class 12, I was already working in that company. So I used to draw a salary of 500 rupees, which was a handsome sum to run your pocket money in those days, right? You can possibly do most of your expenses with that kind of a money. And I was very happy because I was one of the very few kids who was actually earning money. And when I went to college, so that was an interesting incident. So I was very, very callous about my education and, all these IIT, IIM, JEE. I think most of you have cracked JEE. So, kudos to you. You have already done much better than I did in that age. So, and I was very, very callous about it. So just to give you an incident, so I was going for my joint entrance exam. I think maths paper, I don't know how it is now, but that used to be 200 marks paper in 2 hours. I think that was kind of the very challenging part, that you have to finish so much of work in 2 hours. And I was so casual that I reached half an hour late. Right? Because I was very, very, I was enjoying riding my bike, and I was like, taking a detoured route and, reached that place. I didn't even figured out where the center is. So I was half an hour late. I somehow did my exam, and I was told by the exam coordinator that, ki tomar motun cheleder kichu hobe na, because I was half an hour late, and it's absolutely right. I mean, if I would have been in his place, I would have said the same. Obvious reasons I could not kind of crack JEE, as you know. But that year there was a very interesting thing happening. There was a college that opened in Kolkata called Institute of Engineering and Management. And being their first year in the system, they were allowed to take students without JEE. And it was close to my house. So I said, okay, chalo, yaar, engineering karna hai. I'll get this admission. And I went there, and fortunately I got the admission. They had some formalities and I got the admission. So 6 months into my BTech, I figured out that, they are continually teaching me set theory. And I was a very practical guy, I love to code. I was already assembling computer at my home. So I said, no, this is not working out. I was already making some money by assembling computer at home and selling it, right? And I said, this is not going to work for me. I can't keep learning and understanding set theory and do those large sums. I am here to code. And I had a very interesting debate with a senior gentleman in the college. And I said, no, I don't want to study here anymore, because, I'm not being you are not letting me write code. And I left without having any other college behind me. Fortunately, I used to do a lot of trekking. So I got in sports quota, I got admission in Xavier's. So I said, chalo, let me do my BCom honors, and I will keep learning coding on the side. And I kept doing that. Around the same time, I said, I'm doing two things. I'm learning coding and I'm going to BCom college. What else can I do? And I used the day period, the 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock period, to take up a job in Citibank as a salesman. So that was a very interesting time, because I was doing 3 things at a time, and I was having great fun because my whole day was packed. So sometime after 1 year of working in this model, I met a bike accident and I was put at home. I cannot travel out. I was bedridden for 3 months. And that was the most interesting time, because that gave me a lot of time to code, which was my absolute passion. And I was writing code, sitting and, day and night I was writing code. And that kind of also took me away from, from trekking, which was my first profession. So I used to be a trekking instructor. Then I became a sales guy. And then I was kind of taken away from both these things. And I said, internet is my life, because internet connects people, internet connects the world. And this is where I want to build my career. So I think that was very important, that I got that conviction very early in my life that this is what I want to do because this excites me. So there was nothing to do with money. There was no way to make money on internet at that time. But it was just that it excites me and I want to learn more about it. I want to explore it. I was curious about it. So I tried figuring out that, what it is all about. I spent hours and hours on it. And how do I make money? Because my telephone bills were going through the roof. In those days, we used to connect to internet by dialing in. And when you dial in, your telephone bill keeps going up. And I had a situation where, people were then starting asking question at my home that, why the telephone bills are going to a level which is unexpected totally. So I said, I have to make some money out of it. So I said, okay, what can I do? And I figured out a lot of people don't know how to use internet. They were getting onto internet that in those days. And I said, why can't I go and teach people how to use internet? So I started going out and started saying that, I can teach people how to use internet, and told to my friends and the circle, and the message spread. And I started getting those small tasks, where you can go in someone's place and install internet connection, or teach someone how to use it, or, help them how to use a browser. So yes, you may not be able to relate to it, but those were days as well, right? So I did all that. After doing all that, I was making some little bit of money. And sometime in 97, I went to attend an exhibition. This exhibition was called Computex. It was in ice skating ring. And I had no money in my pocket. I had just around 50, 70 odd rupees in my pocket. I used to have a bike, so that takes care of my conveyance. And when I went to this exhibition, a very interesting thing happened. I went to see this exhibition, but something happened inside me. And I said, when I'm seeing this exhibition, can I exhibit at this exhibition? If I exhibit, I can get some customers for my training. I can get some customers for designing website, which I have just learned. So I used to learn HTML sitting at home, on my computer. And I said, I have learned HTML, so I can make a website and I can also get some customers. So it will be great. So just to give you a context of time, it was HTML1. It was not even HTML 2.0. Today we are much higher versions, right? So I went inside the exhibition and said, I want to exhibit. And everybody was laughing at me. So you can't exhibit, you have come to see the exhibition. To exhibit, you have to apply 2-3 months in advance. You have to pay for a stall. You have to then decorate the stall. Then you have to plan for the stall. Then you have to come and you have to showcase what you want to do. I said, I don't have that time. I've just come, I want to exhibit. So a lot of time, ignorance is bliss, right? A lot of times when you don't know the rules of the world, it's great. And I didn't know the rules of the world. And I said, no, I want to exhibit anyway. Then this guy was very pissed off with me that this guy is, I think he's half mad. What do I do with this guy? I said, okay, you go inside and then you talk to someone and see if they let you exhibit. So he just wanted to kind of get me out of his way. I went inside and luckily the first stall that was there in the show, that was of an electronics company which used to distribute modems. And there was some kind of a discussion going on. And I spoke to the owner of that stall. He was trying to decorate the stall with modems. And I told him that, can I share your stall? You have a stall, I see that. Can I share your stall? And he was like a little bit shocked. But then he said, I think he understood that what I'm trying to say. He said, no, you can share my stall, but you have to pay 6,000 rupees for that. I can give you half my stall, but you have to pay 6,000 rupees for that. And that day I was not having a single penny in my pocket. In fact, I had no earnings at that time. Literally, I used to make some money by trading 500, 700,000 rupees. That was all my income. And I was negotiating with him for the 6,000 rupees half stall without any money in my pocket. And finally he said, okay, you can take the stall, but you have to pay me 6,000 rupees. So what I did was I called up another friend who was in similar line and I convinced him to take half the stall of this 6,000 rupees stall so that my cost comes down to 3,000 rupees. So I was having a quarter stall of a small 9 square meter stall. And there is where I started IndusNet. And so how do I present myself? Because I was standing alone. The exhibition has started, people have started coming in. I have agreed to pay 3,000 rupees, 6,000 actually, out of which 3,000 has to go out of my pocket. But what do I do next? So I took out my wallet. I saw I had 70 rupees. I went out. There was a cyber cafe. I made a small pamphlet of I can make, and which kind of says that, this is what I can do. This is what I can help you with. I took 20 Xerox copies of that. That was the amount of money I had. I came back into the stall and I started selling. So I had to go and reach out because nobody understands what I'm doing because I just had pamphlets. I had nothing else. I just had the right to stand there and sell something. So, I think one thing I have realized that, if you go after doing something, you will get some results for sure. If you just sit and keep making excuses, nothing will work. So by just doing that, that day I got my first order in my life, proper web design order. That was for 3,000 rupees. Now the next challenge that came from that same order was that I need to scan those images and the printer would cost 15,000 rupees. So for a 3,000 rupees order, I need 15,000 rupees scanner to execute that order. What do I do next? So the next thing that I started figuring out that how can I get this 15,000 rupees, right? So I started going out to all the people that I met in the exhibition the next day itself. And then I made another big sale, which was for a very interesting institute in Kolkata called NIPS. I'm still in touch with them, with the gentleman who ran that institute at that time. And I got an order, which was I think around 30,000 rupees. So for a young guy to walk in, take that crazy attempt to put a stall in a place where nobody is going to give him a stall, and then get my first order and the second order within 3 days is absolutely crazy. It's not necessary that everyone will get that, but I think if you are brave enough to do it, you will get it. Right? So this was interesting, and after I got that, I was able to buy the printer, execute the order, do all that stuff. So that was the entry into the business. There's a lot of other things that happen, but what I mean to say here is that, be bold enough to start, because starting is half the problem done. Once you start, you will know how to solve a lot of problems that come your way, right? And you just cannot sit and say other people will solve my problem, because nobody is going to solve your problem. Trust me, right? In fact, a lot of times in a little old ecosystem, I would say not old, I would say a little unmatured ecosystem like Kolkata, you will not even get help, because people may not have experience of doing what you are trying to do. So for example, in Calcutta, if someone is trying to build a crypto company today, so crypto is equivalent to internet in those days. So I entered into internet business in 97. Internet came to India in 95. So within 2 years, I was into internet business. There was no one in Calcutta who will guide me how to build an internet business. Today, the same is with crypto business, right? Crypto came to India 2 years back. Today, it's a fad. Everybody owns crypto, right? And if you are trying to build a crypto business in Kolkata today, you might not find a lot of people who knows about crypto. But the point is that if you have taken a stance and you want to build it and you are learning it and you are taking the first step, eventually you will get the next step and the third step. You cannot walk out of it because you did not get help, because you will not get help. Okay? If you get help, you are lucky. Don't consider help as your right. I'll tell you why I'm saying this, because a lot of time when people write to me to raise money, they write, I have sent you my business plan. When can I expect your investment? Investment is not your right, my friend. A lot of time people reach out and they write a mail that, I need to meet you. When can I come to your office? I'm sorry. You don't own me. You have no right to come and meet me unless I want to meet you, right? So I think this mentality also need to change, that we don't have any rights, right? We have to earn the right. And you may not get what you want. You may not get any help. You may have to build everything on your own. All your struggle, all your fight are your own, right? So I'm not going to paint a beautiful picture of entrepreneurship that you see on Shark Tank and many other shows and many other online sites. Entrepreneurship is difficult and it's not for everybody. What I want to give a message today here is that go and try for entrepreneurship. There's no harm, but doesn't matter. Work on your fundamentals so that even if you're not an entrepreneur, right, you start your journey being a great executive, and entrepreneurship eventually will come to you if you are made for it. So this is my message to you. Obviously, I cannot cover the entire story of building IndusNet from the first website order to what it stands today. But of course, I think I just wanted to share that small incident which helped me start the company and, get out of the bed, as I say, and start walking, which is the most important step. All the other steps can be managed after that if you are, if you are passionate and if you are committed. And most important thing that I believe is that you have to stay committed into the cause that you are for. You cannot get into entrepreneurship just to make money. And I'm lucky that I got early into entrepreneurship, because when you get early into entrepreneurship, the good thing is that you don't have pressure. Nobody expects anything from you. So the interesting thing was my family was not expecting any magic from me at that age. So anything that I was earning, I was in second year, come on. So if anything I'm doing, right, for my family, it was like, great, yeah, I mean, he's trying, he's experimenting, he's having fun. Right? So start early if you can, because then you don't have the pressure of performance. You don't have the heavy load of expectation of your family and friends, and you are very, very free to fail and keep learning and keep growing. So with this, I will end my commentary, And I'll hand this back to Prodipta.
Uh, Thank you, Abhishek. It was really wonderful. Lot of candid things you have said, that one has to be dependent on himself, means self-dependent, not expecting that someone will help or someone will support. So it was quite nice, no? I mean, you had been to ice skating rink, and immediately it triggered you that I want to do something. That kind of breaking the self-imposed barrier is very, very essential. That probably is the trigger point from where what I heard from you, that from the childhood you have that entrepreneurial attitude of earning something by yourself, by putting your own effort, exerting yourself. So those are the things I think it was there in you since your, I mean, childhood. That also probably has helped. We all, I mean, those who all are aspiring to be an entrepreneur should always think that how can we, I mean, get into earning mode, not in experimental mode and not, advisory mode. So some degree of desperation, some degree of activities, not only thinking but acting on this. I mean, you may fail thousands of times, but maybe Swamiji has said that if you fail, then you can guide, and if you succeed, then you can lead. So, these are the things we want to convey to our next generation people, and they should take it up. They should have a lot of guts in them, that entrepreneurship is tough, you are right, but nowadays the employment situation is also not very cozy. This is also very much volatile outside, a lot of competitions, lot of challenges, family challenges and other things are there. So one has to start very early. We can say dare to fail, but don't fail to dare. So this is very important, and it is better to do at the early age when the expectation pressure will not be so. You can experiment with yourself for a few years, and then you can decide that yes, I am on the right path or not. Should we continue with entrepreneurship, or should we go get into an employment? A lot of successful executives in their mid-career has shifted from corporate leadership to entrepreneurship because they may not be enjoying that thing anymore, or they might be having that mid-career, you know, career concern. So they shifted from there. So with these few things, I would request our fellow panelist, Mr. Dr. Devashish De, if you have anything to ask Mr. Abhishek, please. Then we'll go to the students for their questions. Dr. Devashish De, you have any questions to Abhishek?
Thank you for excellent talk, and we really enjoyed your experience. I hope that our students will be immensely benefited by your talk. And I have one query that mindset is is very important problem you have mentioned, mindset, right? So most of the students are very happy with the getting the the company job, salaried job. So other people, those who are in entrepreneur, initially they face a lot of challenges. Rather, that the in terms of establishment in the early career in their life. So what is your suggestion to those people, those who want to go forward in this path?
I think Mr. Day, I covered that a little bit. See, I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to just go and start exploring that. And as I said, it's a steep learning curve, right? So you have to be very open to learning and unlearning and challenging yourself. And this is a problem I see in this part of the world, to be very honest, right? Unless you are challenging yourself to learn something new, ground up, and accept that I don't know anything about it, and also be open that I can learn everything about it, in days, literally days. So I'll tell you, I learned everything about running a hosting business in 3 days. I spent continuously 48 hours online, 48 hours at a stretch.
You
And I
mentioned
was seeing each and every website that I can learn from. And I made notes and I learned and learned and learned till I said that, yes, I know this business. So you just need 48 hours to learn an entire hosting business. Come on. You can learn anything if you want to learn. You can be an expert in any subject if you go after it, even for let's say 30 days. If you go 30 days after even learning crypto, I think in 30 days' time, you will be better than 90% of the people in this world in that subject. But the point is, I don't see that level of commitment at times. And I'm saying that that commitment will come the moment you believe that you have the onus to take your own responsibility. And I'm telling you, fundamentally, if I derive this whole thing, how many people right now, even when they're in college in first year, they are earning their pocket money? I think in India they should make a law that parents should not give pocket money to their children after they are after class plus 12. Why should they get pocket money? I mean, they're 18. Come on. Right? If they have to make money, they will go and serve in a restaurant. If they have to make money, they will do 10 different things. In US, UK, all these countries where people mature faster and they become self-reliant, right? That is where you see innovation. That is where you see curiosity. Why it's happening there? Because these people are pushed to do things on their own. They say, भाई हो गया, आपको और सपोर्ट नहीं मिलने वाला फैमिली से. अब घर से बाहर जाओ, अपना पैसा कमाओ, अपना जिंदगी जियो. Right? They have to even pitch to their parents to get money for their college degrees. In India, the parents are basically accumulating money कि भाई बेटा को किसी तरह पढ़ाना है कुछ भी देकर.
So you have to be out of the comfort zone, basically.
Yes, you have to be totally out of comfort zone. And in India, we put people into so much of comfort zone, even in college, right?
Yeah.
कॉलेज को ही प्लेसमेंट कराना है, कॉलेज को ही सब कुछ करके देना है. भाई कॉलेज इज अ प्लेस वेयर यू गेट योर फंडामेंटल नॉलेज एंड लर्निंग्स. दैट्स इट. एंड एवरीबडी हैज टू बी वेरी क्लियर दैट द कॉलेज इज अ प्लेस फॉर दिस दिस दिस. दैट्स इट. बाकी चीज आपको करना है. आई विल गिव यू फैसिलिटी, आई विल गिव यू ऑल दिस थिंग्स. गो आउट एंड लर्न, एक्सप्लोर योरसेल्फ. You are not in a business to make robots for us, right? If you see, for example, if you let's say you build me, you create 20 PHP programmers for me. If they're all the same, let's say for any reason you create it wrong, right? So what will happen? All the 20 people will be created wrong.
Yes, yes.
So all the 20 people will not get a job at my company. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Right? Let them explore and learn on themselves. And I think that going out of comfort zone will make champions. And I think we are lacking those champions.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How did you find in your case your family support and friend support, moral support? I'm saying that when you took up this kind of ventures, I'm sure that you must have got family encouragement. Okay, Abhishek, go on, we are there. But in most of the cases, in Bengali families, particularly, or this part of India, not only in Bengal, maybe partly in Assam, Orissa, and other places also. Generally, that is discouraged. Generally, parents say, no, no, don't get into business. Business is not in our family, and business has many ups and downs. So better get into a job.
So,
What was the situation?
আমি এখানে একটা কাউন্টার করব, হ্যাঁ, আমি একটা প্রশ্ন জিজ্ঞেস করবো, আপনার প্রশ্নের এগেইনস্ট একটা প্রশ্ন জিজ্ঞেস করবো. হ্যাঁ,
Please.
ছেলেরা কি সত্যি মা বাবার এত কথা শোনে?
না,
একটা কথা বলি, হ্যাঁ, যখন বিয়ে করতে হয়, হ্যাঁ, যখন স্কুলে কলেজে প্রেম করে, ওইখানে যদি মা বাবা বারণ করে দেয়, তাহলে কি কথা শোনে? শোনে না তো. ওটা তো লাইফ ডিসিশন একটা. যখন ওখানে হ্যাঁ, না, এটাই আমি বলছি, এটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট এক্সাম্পল. হ্যাঁ,
এক্সাম্পলটা এটা এই জন্য দিচ্ছি যে ছেলেরা বাবা মার কথা তখন শোনে না যখন ওরা মানে ইট সুটস দেম. বাবা মার কিন্তু ইফ ইউ গিভ দেম এ ফিয়ার ফ্যাক্টর, তখন কিন্তু ওদের মনে ওইটাই হয়. বাবা মা কিন্তু শুধুই ফিয়ার ফ্যাক্টরটাই দেয় না, প্লাস একটুখানি প্রেশারও থাকে যে হ্যাঁ তুমি চাকরির জন্য অ্যাপ্লাই করো, তুমি চাকরির জন্য যাও, বিজনেসের জন্য যেও না. তো এই ব্যাপারটা এটা থাকে. এখানে বিয়ের ব্যাপারটাই হয় কি যে বিয়ের ব্যাপারটা ঠিক আছে, মানে দেয়ার আর লট অফ মানে failure, I mean lot of marriages which does not get along for a long time, ওখানেও একটা ফেলিওর হয়. তো সেই ব্যাপারটায় আমার মনে হয় যে একটা ফ্যামিলি এনকারেজমেন্টও একটা দরকার, সোশ্যালি অলসো। আমরা দেখেছি যে আওয়ার নেইবার্স অর আওয়ার ফ্রেন্ড সার্কলস, আদার পিপল সে দে, ও তো কিছু হলো না, ফাইনালি কিছু একটা করছে, নিজের কিছু একটা করছে, এই জাতীয় একটা, মানে সাপোজ ইউ আর ডুইং সামথিং, মেবি আফটার ফিউ ইয়ার্স ইউ উইল বি ডুইং গ্রেট, দে ডোন্ট অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট দ্যাট, দে সি দ্যাট এখন তো কিছু করছে না, ও তো কিছু হলো না, চাকরি বাকরি পেলো না, ও তো কিছু একটা নিজের মতো করছে। তো সেই সোশ্যাল রেকগনিশনটাও একটুখানি ল্যাকিং, পার্টিকুলারলি দিস পার্ট অফ ইন্ডিয়া। বাট ইফ উই গো টু পাঞ্জাব, if we go to Gujarat, if we go to Rajasthan and other places, then they take it otherwise, that अरे वो बिजनेस में क्यों नहीं गया, कहाँ नौकरी करने के लिए क्यों चला गया, মানে ওখানে ওরা ডিসকারেজ করে টু গেট ইনটু দ্য এমপ্লয়মেন্ট, দে
না
অলওয়েজ সে
হ্যাঁ
দ্যাট
প্রদীপ দা,
বিজনেস টু বি টেকেন আপ।
না এত এত ডিফারেন্স নেই প্রদীপ দা, সব জায়গায় হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ,
পেরেন্টস আর ভেরি প্রোটেক্টিভ, দে জেনারেলি লাইক দেয়ার চিলড্রেন টু গো ফর আ জব। হ্যাঁ কিছু কিছু জায়গায় আছে, যেরকম গুজরাটে কিছু কমিউনিটিজ আছে যেখানে বলবে না ব্যবসা কেন করছে না, যেরকম
হ্যাঁ,
রাজস্থানে
হ্যাঁ,
কিছু
হ্যাঁ,
কমিউনিটিজ আছে। সো
রাইট,
দিস ইজ এ ভেরি স্মল নাম্বার অফ পিপল, রাইট, वेयर
ওকে,
पेरेंट्स विल पुश पीपल टू गो एंड डू जॉब बिजनेस,
হুম,
वेरी
হুম,
स्मॉल। आई वुड से इंडिया का पॉपुलेशन का 2%, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं है। 98% parents are still very protective of their children, they would like them to go and do a good job, and I think there the children have to be a little rebel, but rebel with a cause. They have to come back and show that they are doing serious progress, and if they show serious progress their parents will not disagree with them. And that is why I said you have to start early. If you start early, so think about what happened with me. I started in second year. By third year, I was making money. By the end of third year, in 2 years' time, I was making money. I was able to take care of myself pretty well. I was earning a sufficient amount of money that people will not even earn in a job, right? So my parents were comfortable कि चलो और थोड़ा करने देते हैं, देखते हैं क्या करता है. So you will get a little bit of slack as you keep showing your seriousness and your commitment to that work. You will keep getting a little bit of a slack. So you will not get full slack from your parents. I totally agree with you. I mean, obviously, when I said about this marriage, it was I was in a light-hearted mood. But what I'm saying is that you have to keep showing results to get slack from your parents so that you can keep moving ahead. কিন্তু আপনি কিছুই করবেন না, আপনি
হ্যাঁ,
চেষ্টা দেখাবেন না, আপনি নতুন জিনিস শিখবেন না,
হুম,
আপনি সব জায়গায় বলবেন না আমি তো এত ভালো একটা অর্ডার পেলেই অর্ডার তুলবো, নাহলে আমি কাজই করবো না।
হুম,
ইফ ইউ শো
হুম,
দ্যাট অ্যাটিটিউড অ্যান্ড ইউ আর নট মেকিং এনি প্রোগ্রেস, দেন অবভিয়াসলি ইউর পেরেন্টস উইল বি ওয়ারিড না, they will
রাইট,
always ask you to go and take up a job. So this is a problem that lot of times people are not making progress, right? And I'm saying if kids start making money early on in their career, like from first year in their college, we should encourage that more and more. Colleges should also encourage children to go out and do a job, a part-time job, a half-day job, right? Like I think I was fortunate. I am not comparing colleges, but I think Xavier's model was amazing. Xavier's morning session was amazing. 9:40 you are done. आपका सारा पढ़ाई हो गया है, अब पूरा दिन आप फ्री हो. You go and take up a job, you go and work anywhere, you go and play. You are deciding your career. Nobody else is deciding your career. If you want to spoil that 3 year, you can spoil. If you want to build a company in those 3 years, you can build a company. So I think we have to also be, we have to be aware about our own situation and we have to work through it. So I would not say anything is easy, Pradipda. Nothing is easy.
true,
It's just that, you have to decide I want to do this. If you decide you want to do it, you will get there.
Actually, sir, if you do not mind, that this kind of culture I have seen in UK and Australia. Then when my students, my friends are doing PhD, they are working in the shopping mall,
Yeah.
as a
So
counter.
so it cannot be seen below our dignity to do job, right? To do odd jobs, to make some money. Unfortunately, I'll tell you, a lot of people who pass out of even college, right? Your BTech college, MTech college, right? If you give them a small job to start with, they'll see it below their dignity. বলতে এই কাজটা করবো না, আমি তো এই কাজ করতে এসেছি. So this is where you lose your life, literally. You have to start somewhere, you have to start learning. So you get in a job, you get some income, you start learning. So you cannot make a giant leap next day, right? You have to
Yeah,
take small steps.
research scholars are doing this kind of departmental support job. So
করছে তো.
there is nothing harm.
Yes, that's what
the
I'm saying.
moment you enjoy the earning things, it I mean shifts your thought paradigm.
Yes, absolutely.
And
That's right.
early you can do, you get some addictions to earning again.
Yes, it is important.
those are very important. So nice. Mr. Shaw, you have some questions in your mind to interact with Abhishek before we take some questions from students.
Oh, I think it's fine. We have had a lot of saying, given us a lot of insight. So if there are participants who are having some questions, we can take those questions first.
Okay, let me see what are the questions there. If somebody is writing that since it's a motivational session, I want to say that how can we motivate ourselves?
I get very funny questions also.
It is being said by Shayantan. If you want to say anything, please. Otherwise, I would say that those who are being adult, they should not expect that somebody else will come and motivate them. Once you are in your, boyhood or childhood, okay, you can expect that your parents or your seniors will be motivating you. But now if you are growing adult or grown adult, so you have to motivate yourself and get that motivation by seeing some, figures, by some persons, you can see many people around you whom you can take as a model. And get motivations from them, get the radiations from the other prominent characters around you, industries, from academia, from every field. So you have to follow them sometime. Nobody will come voluntarily, as Abhishek has always emphasized that nobody will come and spend time for you. Everybody values time as money. So you have to do it by yourself. Abhishek, if you want to add anything, please.
No, I don't have anything to add. I think you need to set a goal in life. You need to challenge yourself that I want to meet this goal in life, and I think that is the meaning of life, right? So you will see a lot of people, right, who become multi-billionaires, but they keep working. They don't need money to survive anymore, right? But why they work? They are motivated because of a goal, of an objective, of a bigger purpose that they keep in life, right? So they don't need to keep working. Most of the people who are billionaires, even a person who's a millionaire, right? 7.5 crore is a huge amount of money, right? Isn't it? Why are they working after that? They can't do anything with the additional money they get. Most of them. Some of them will show off in by buying Ferrari and all. But most of them who have a lot of money, they don't show off. They just have it in the bank and they don't even use it. For them, the motivation is not money. The motivation is that bigger objective and goal that they have kept in life and they are working towards it. Money is a byproduct. So I would just add that, so that you need to possibly figure out what is that bigger goal that your life is positioned towards.
Next question is from Mahima. Sir, how do I know whether the idea I want to start up with is on a right track or not?
Yeah, Google it. My problem is nobody Googles nowadays, right? I think everybody is stuck to Facebook. So I would call it a Facebook versus Google problem, right? Yes. Facebook is entertainment, right? Google is learning. Go and Google it. Find out what's happening in that field. Find out what is the business opportunities in that field. Find out how many people are building companies in that field. Find out what problems are people solving around the world. You are no more in Kolkata, come on. Once you are connected to internet, you are in the world. So I still remember when I started my office and I started getting overseas project, and I took a call that I will only do overseas project, I will not go to Indian clients. You know what we used to do? In SDF building, we opened our office and we used to have those large, wooden doors. And after all the employees used to come into office, we used to close the door. And we used to say, and I used to tell my team that now forget that you are in Kolkata. Now you are on the information highway of the world, right? Now you have to deal in such a way that you can deal with anybody, you can get any client, you can sell to anybody, you can serve anybody, and you can take money from anybody in from any place, any country in the world. And that is where we reached from 0 to 30 orders a day. Think about it. Even many companies in Kolkata or India today even also cannot boast of getting 30 orders a day for websites. And we used to get that right here in Kolkata. right? And we literally redefined the way web development business happens in the country, not just in Calcutta, in the country. Because we thought differently. We said ki yaar gate band karo, and that is the same again. I am telling you, you are connected to the world. Forget that you are in Kolkata. You forget that you are in Macau or you are in XYZ college or ABC college. Stop making excuse that कि ना उस कॉलेज का प्रोफेसर अच्छा नहीं पढ़ाया, उसके अंदर ये फैसिलिटी में प्रॉब्लम था, right? You have a laptop, you have a computer. At least you have access to a computer. That's why you're logged in, right? You have access to internet. That's why you are seeing this session, right? If you have your access to computer, access to internet, right? Your education problem is solved. If you are now saying that আমার নলেজ নেই, আমার এডুকেশন নেই, আমার এক্সপোজার নেই, আমি জানি না কেন হয়, কিভাবে হয়, কিরকম হবে, then you are making an excuse. I'm sorry I'm being blunt, but this is the way I look at it. You may look at it in a different way, and I respect your views, but this is my view.
Exactly. They should know this is the real world, and this is how the approach or attitude to be built. And it's blunt means if you don't say them candidly now, then who will tell them? Everybody says no, it's okay. That's not going to help them. The next question comes from Satyam Chaudhary. How you remain calm and motivated when you face constant failures?
I think we have to redefine failure. I think failure, what is failure, right? I mean, I think even with a small stumble, we call it a failure. I think that the whole definition of failure is wrong, right? And second is, I think as a society also, we have to stop victimizing failure. And if the society doesn't change, then you change. So the way I look at it, that I have changed myself because the society is not going to change for myself, right? So what I say is that I don't care what people say. I absolutely don't care. Not even today. I don't care how would you take this session. I honestly don't care how would the senior people, my co-panelists, will perceive me after this session, right? They may call that Abhishek is a rebel. They may call Abhishek is a great guy. They may say, no, he has got very different ideas. I don't care, right? So I think you have to stop caring. And if you stop caring and you keep doing your things, right? And if you keep trying, failure is a very big word. I would say failure is not bad, but failure is a very big word, right? You are doing hundreds of experiments. And out of hundreds of experiments, 97 of the experiments will fail. Only 3 will survive. And that 3 experiment is what matters. If you ask any entrepreneur, right, he must have taken 20 different bets. Only one bet worked. 19 bet failed. And with that one bet working, he might have become a millionaire. Right? So what is important here is that every bet that is failing, you are learning from that. If you are not learning from those 19 bets, then there is a problem. Okay? And while you are failing, if anybody mocks at you or thinks about something wrong about you, I don't think you should even worry about it. You should even think about it, talk about it. I think it's waste of time.
Abhishek, Dr. Abdul Kalam, our first president, he nicely said fail, FAIL, as first attempt in learning.
Absolutely.
So the next question is from Shravani Singha. She is saying that when a girl started business, so her family not supported. When that girl, what can she do, and how can she start her business? Something like that.
So again, I think family not supporting can not necessarily only a problem for girls. I think it is a problem for boys also at times, as we discussed some time back. So I think at that point of time, you have to put your foot down and say that this is what I will do, and you have to show progress. Because see, people whom you care about, at least there you have to show progress and win their confidence. Rest of the people you don't care about, right? In this whole world, maybe you will care about your parents and that's it, right? And maybe your brother or sister, right? But if you, and when you care about them, obviously you will also care about their emotion, about, what do they feel about your business, right? In that case, you may have to just show them that you are making progress. And if they're not happy with that, no problem. You keep doing it if you want to do it. And the second way to do it is, you take up a job, you learn, you grow in your job, you get experience. And then when you start something on the side and then you go full-fledged into it, so do a smooth transition. Go into a job and then eventually do a transition into entrepreneurship. Don't jump into it on day one. It is not necessary to jump into it on day one if you are not getting any support.
That's another model. You are rightly said that, okay, parallelly for some time you learn something while you are in the job, You parallelly start venturing into some side activities and slowly switch over to the other side. That is also a good model. Uh, Another question comes, sir, always we motivate by watching legends or anyone, but how can I motivate myself without watching anyone? Please give any suggestions. So we have discussed it. You have to
Yes.
watch people. You have to learn about people. I said about Wow Momo. I said about Paytm. I said about Byju's. So all these stories to be read, and from their motivation needs to be derived, right?
You have to have a bigger purpose. If you have a purpose, if you have a big goal in life, you will get motivation. The only other way to get motivation is that you are bankrupt and you are
Yeah,
struggling to survive. You will automatically get motivation.
in a
So there are only two
desperate
ways to get
situation.
motivation in my way. Either you go bankrupt and you are absolutely on the roads and your survival is in question, you will absolutely get motivated because you have to survive, right? The other way to get motivated is that you have a big objective, big vision, that this is what I want to do in life, this is what I want to change the world, this is how I will impact the world.
The next questions comes that hello sir, I am Chayan Kantiroy. I want to be a quantum physics scientist. How do I follow goals and become successful? This is not the entrepreneurship or innovation sort of question, but if you still want to address, you can.
Sure, I mean, I think you can learn a lot about quantum physics online. There is a lot of material, a lot of research paper. Learn it. If you don't understand something, go and Google it up and try to find out what is the meaning of that. You become good in the subject, right? I mean, every college in US, every college in India also, nowadays they accept people who have got talent and who have got knowledge, right? And we are seeing people who are not having professional education, but they are doing great in world, right? As I said, Elon Musk had no idea about how to make rocket science, right? Rockets, right? He had no education in doing that. He learned all by himself. Think about it. A guy learning everything. I mean, it just gives me goosebumps to think about it, right? A guy who is not educated in rocket science, right? He buys books, goes online, learn about that subject so well that he launches the world's largest private rocket company in the world and do things which even NASA cannot do. Can you think about it? Right? And you are saying I need motivation. I mean, this is the vision. A person can say that I want to do this, and then he says, okay, what I need to do to do this, right? I start calculating backward, and then I say, okay, I need to start here, and let me go out and dedicate myself 100% to that goal. And he must think about it, how much he must have studied, how deep he must have studied, and he had no fundamentals in that subject. So he must have come across a word he has never understood. He must have had to go and understand that word and then read that paper. Think about it, right? So I mean, I find a little odd when you are asking that, how do I motivate myself, how do I become quantum physics scientist? If you are even if you are listening for 5 minutes about these great guys in the world, which all of us know today, which all of us know about, like Elon Musk is not a hidden talent that I have to discover and expose to you, right? Warren Buffett is not a hidden talent that I have to discover and expose to you. And their basic anecdotes of their life is so motivating, and it gives us the complete way. What do we need to do to get there? There's nothing hidden. These people are living a public life. Social media has made almost every life public life, right? So I think you need to just read and then apply in the right places, and people will definitely accept you. Today world is much more welcoming. So after I did my BCom, I wanted to do MTech. So I'll just give you a very simple anecdote. I did BCom and I wanted to do MTech because my BTech dream was left in between because I dropped out of BTech, as I told you. Do you know what I did? I started applying. I started applying all over the world. I said, I want to do MTech. I will not settle for anything less than MTech. I want to do MTech. I don't have a BTech. I'm a BCom guy. Think of a BCom guy applying for MTech all over the world. I got response from 3 universities. I made a choice from there. These guys told me that you have to give an exam to prove that you are a BTech qualified so that I can take you in MTech. I prepared for that exam. I gave that exam. So a BCom guy giving a BTech exam, passing that, and getting into the master's degree for technology, right? And then doing that degree. So I mean, if I can do that, right, being an absolutely bluff master in education, in my studies, right? I was not great guy in studies, right? I studied because I wanted to do that thing. So I think for you guys who are so deep into studies, I think you can do far, far better.
There is a question from Pragya Day. She is saying that how to know the information I got from Google is right. Sometimes I got wrong answer.
then the first thing you should search on Google is how to search on Google. No, I'm serious. There is a lot of content around that, and you will actually learn. Really, you will learn well, and this is an important skill in life. You need to learn how to Google, because all this search happens in certain ways, right? There has to be certain phrases that you type. There are certain operators that you use.
Keywords you have to use.
Yeah, you how do you place those keywords? How do you use those terminologies? So there is a lot to learn in Googling also. I'm sorry, but a lot of people don't even learn that.
And Abhishek, truly, while you search Google with multiple words,
Yeah.
then the position of each word is very important. Means, if one word comes before and the other word comes later, then you will get a different result altogether.
Absolutely.
So that is also very important.
That's right.
One question is, sir, in this pandemic situation, how can I motivate myself?
I think enough on that. Enough of that.
Enough of that. Then comes, Souvik is saying it is really informative and very nice session, etc. Then Mahima says, what if I get to start up a business at an early age and goes astray? If this affects my academic result, is that worth investing more?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't worry. Go and do it. And there is nothing called astray. You will learn something, and that learning will be far more valuable than any of your degrees that you will get in your life.
Right. And then the next question comes is, sir, how to convince my team for doing something? As because just like me, my team, it is getting, blocked by some other.
I can read it. How to convince my team for doing something, as because just like me, my team may not think like me. So on that situation, should I go in a single way? No. So I think Saptak, you need to build the right team, right? So if you are again mingling around with the kind of people who are not interested in challenging themselves and learning new things, I think you are building a wrong team on day one. And as a startup, if you are starting up a company, you need to build a solid team. You need to work with people who are curious. The curious is a very big word. Just by using the word curious, the British literally ruled the world because they were curious about different places, right? These Europeans, they came and ruled India. They ruled Latin America. They ruled almost the entire world. They colonized the entire world because they were curious to discover these places. तो आप लोग ये क्यूरोसिटी को ना बहुत अंडर एस्टिमेट कर रहे हो. ठीक है, तो मेक श्योर दैट द पीपल यू हायर आर क्यूरियस. इफ दे आर नॉट क्यूरियस, प्लीज डोंट हायर देम.
Okay, with this, there are some more questions. Only thing is that, Abhishek, you probably know that the semester examination in Macau is going on. Even then, we see that more than 250 participants are there, and they must have enjoyed, and they must have been, very much benefited. May I now request Mr. Shaw to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Professor Mukhopadhyay. It was indeed a very intriguing session, and we really thank Mr. Rungta from our wholeheartedly that he has spared his time to interact with the participants today. As Mr. Mukhopadhyay rightly said, on account of this exam going on in Macau, the third semester and fifth semester students and even the faculties are slightly involved in that. So the number of participants otherwise would have had shot up further. But having said that, let me say a couple of words. Like whatever Mr. Rungta said, it was from his experience and from the core of his heart. Certain things which he highlighted, being curiosity, for instance, commitment, conviction, etc. Like somebody was saying that the team, like they're not like birds of a feather flock together. You have to take people who are into it and they are having the same liking. Otherwise, obviously, the team will not work. And yourself only, the person concerned has to be himself very motivated and also committed, so that the other team members also are following the same path. Otherwise, it will be difficult. it's of course challenging, but then life is not a bed of roses as usual. I mean, life challenges are there, failures also will be there, and as Mr. Rungta rightly pointed out, I mean, one failure cannot put you down. I mean, if you are losing your heart with one failure, thinking that नहीं होगा हमसे करते पारबो ना, तब तो खैर कुछ भी नहीं होगा. So the life is like a war. We have to fight it. I mean, we have to continue. जीवन जीने का नाम है भाई. गिरने से गिर के उठना तो मरेगा ही, नहीं तो फिर नीचे जमीन पे ही रह जाएंगे. So this thing is very challenging, and today the things are not very easy. Even getting a job in the market, there is a huge scarcity of jobs today. Just getting a good degree or something, I have seen. And another thing, what he was saying, that some people after getting certain amount of qualification things that मैं तो यही करूँगा, दूसरा काम नहीं करूँगा. I must get minimum this much package. Below that, I don't want to compromise. I mean, you don't have. Professor Devashish, they was rightly saying that in other countries there are people who are working part time. They are trying to earn some living out of themselves. They have to take out some pocket money. They cannot be 100% dependent on their guardians, on their parents, because at the end of the day, the parents also have the other commitments and their other expenditures. And if you are only going to the college and the entire expenditure is being borne by the parents themselves, not only for your books, for your tuition classes, for your extra classes, your travel expenses, it might become difficult. Everybody is not, all big guns. There are families where, we need to come in and then see that if we can also earn a bit, like how Mr. Rungta was telling about his own experience, how he started. He started earning something, and that was some support for him, and even his parents were, they were thinking that's fine, he's at least doing something, some earning is there, and if you can further develop or if you can further go ahead, why not? So just lying idle, but this it's a very interesting thing. Abhishek ji, जो आप कह रहे थे कि earlier those classes, I do not know, even today the big colleges are still having that morning session, afternoon session and evening session or not. But morning session, if the classes are getting over by 9:30, 10 o'clock, then you get the entire day to do something else. That's very interesting, because most of the colleges I find nowadays, the day scholars, the classes are starting at 10 and getting over at 4. So I mean, na ghar ke rahe na ghat ke rahe wali baat ho jati hai. When you have nothing left, you prepare, you go to the college, then by the time you come back, it's in the evening, so there's nothing much left to do in the evening or early in the morning. So this sort of a thing, I do not know. I'm from the industry. My colleagues from the academia may throw more light on that. But if this is there, I feel that this is a good thing. This is a good thing.
St. Xavier's has this characteristic. St. Xavier's, early morning, maybe 6 o'clock it starts, something like that.
Oh, I see. So they might be having it now also, I think.
Yes.
That's nice, because this gives an ample opportunity for the guys who are really interested in it. जो करना ही नहीं चाहते हैं, उनके लिए सुबह क्या, शाम क्या, रात क्या, उनके लिए तो बात बराबर ही है. But those who are really enthusiastic, committed, and want to do something, they want to be a little innovative, they want to go one step forward to get something extra, for them is fine. But then those who are जो सोया सो खोया वाली बात है, जो जागा सो पाया, जो जागेगा उसी को मिलेगा, जो नहीं, जो सो के रहेगा उसको क्या मिलेगा, तो जो सोया सो खोया वाली बात. Nevertheless, I won't take long. We really, on behalf of Markout, our university, we thank you. आपको तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ रुंगटा साहब कि आपने अपना समय निकाला, बहुमूल्य समय, और सारे पार्टिसिपेंट के साथ आपने अपनी एक्सपीरियंस शेयर की. मुझे उम्मीद है कि हमारे जितने पार्टिसिपेंट हैं, खास करके जो इस तरफ में जाना चाहते हैं, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की तरफ में, उनको काफ़ी कुछ आपके वजह से काफ़ी कुछ आइडिया मिला होगा, और ज़रूर वो उसमें उन्नति करेंगे और उसमें अपना ध्यान देंगे. और साथ ही साथ मैं प्रोफेसर देवाशीष दे और हमारे कुलीग मिस्टर मुखोपाध्याय और हमारे जो ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर सर हैं, जो अभी किसी वजह से भी नहीं है, लेकिन उनका बहुत ही काफ़ी उत्साहपूर्ण वो रहते हैं और इस तरह की वेबिनार में बहुत ही वो योगदान देते हैं. हमारे जो वाइस चांसलर साहब हैं डॉक्टर मोइत्रो, और उन्हीं के वजह से, बिकॉज ऑफ हिज इनिशिएटिव्स, we have arranged a lot of this type of program, webinars where we have called in the experts like Mr. Rungta. Time to time, we have been calling, and I would also request Mr. Rungta that in case in future we are having some other program, we request you if you can kindly accept our invitation for joining in the another webinar, because today somehow I think quite a few people have missed out your your experiences and your wisdom. So maybe we do it something in future for the other after the exams are over. We would request you if you could kindly join. Once again, I thank all my colleagues and the technical team, Mr. Prem Kumar and the others. And I think there will be a feedback link which Mr. Prem Kumar will be sharing for the participants if they can give their comments so that the certificate can be given to them. With these words, I complete my what to say the vote of thanks, which is a difficult thing, but all's well that ends well, and we have finished on a very happy note, and that's very very important. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Mukhopadhyay. Carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. With the permission of Honorable Vice Chancellor and fellow panelists, I am closing these sessions for this evening. We would look forward to Mr. Rungta's valuable advice and wisdom in future once again. Okay.